Hi guys! So before we get started on the main part of the video, I just wanted to let you all know about a little side project I'm working on. It is a small website where I plan to sell clothes and other items that I make. So if you are in the Lagos, Nigeria area specifically, please show some support, go to the site, order anything that takes your fancy. We are constantly working on providing more items and more stock. Anyways, let's get back to the main video. So on this video, I'm going to show you how I personally made the dress. I'm sure there are many different ways online, but these are the steps that I took. I first of all had to manually wind the bobbin with elastic thread. I used my fingers to hold the thread taut without stretching it. I'm not really sure what happens if you stretch it, but the research I did said to not stretch the thread, so I'm not stretching it. The next thing I'm doing is a small test on some of the fabric. In this case, I cut out 10 inches of the fabric I'm going to use. The setup of the machine is almost the same as if the bobbin thread was regular thread. The upper thread is normal, but I increased the lower thread tension from 4 to 7. I'm just going to sew a couple of test rows. In order to not waste any of the thread, I'm sewing a continuous stitch from one end and then moving to the next line without cutting the thread. You can see the level of stretch I got. This is a little less than what I wanted, so I adjusted the bobbin tension a little bit more, and then I did another test on about 10 inches of fabric. This gave me a closer stretch to what I was looking for. It went from roughly 10 inches to less than 5 inches, which means the stretch is approximately twice the length. Now I'm going to work with the rest of the fabric. The length of the fabric is about 45 inches, which is about the height I wanted the dress to be, so I'm going to leave it at that. For the width, I calculated it based on the widest part of my body, which is my hips, and the smallest part, which is my waist. It's a little difficult to explain, but basically, I wanted the fabric to stretch to at least a little bit over my hip size, but I needed it to shrink to my waist size or less. So the unshirred fabric would have to be greater than my hips of 38 inches, and it would have to be equal to or less than twice my waist, because the fabric shrinks down to half its size after shirring. So I picked a middle point between the two, which is 48 inches. Next thing I did was hem the bottom and the top of the fabric. This is the best time to do it because trying to do it after shirring can be difficult. After that comes the fun part, aka the nightmare. So the first and probably the most important thing you need to do is draw your shirring guidelines. These are lines you draw on your fabric to help guide your sewing. I learned the hard way that you should not skip this step at all. Don't skip it. I thought I could eyeball it the entire way, but unless your fabric has lines on it that you could follow, save yourself the heartache and draw your guidelines. Trust me. I'm sure you can tell already that this isn't going well for me. I had to stop and restart the entire thing. After that, it took me about 4 hours to finish shirring the whole fabric. And this is what it looks like after shirring. The rest is super simple. Now I'm just closing the open seam. I struggled a little bit here because I forgot to reduce the bobbin tension back to how it was originally, but we got there eventually. If I was making a tube dress, I would be done at this stage. It's that simple. But I decided that I wanted to add some straps that could be tied. So I cut out some strips of fabric that I used to make 4 straps. I played around with the positioning a little bit to make sure I liked where it was going to be. After that, I used a needle and a thread and I just hand stitched it on. And that is it, guys. We are done. This was a super simple dress, super simple. The only reason it takes some time is because shirring takes a while, but the dress itself, just low effort. I loved it. I will definitely be doing it again. Yeah, so please like the video, subscribe, and do your thing. Thank ya.